This video is on the objective, write a vector in terms of the vectors I and j. Now this is the second video on this objective, so I'm hoping you've watched the first one, because I'm not going to do nearly as much explaining. I'm just going to go right into working the problem. Alright, and if you want to see more about the topic, click on More Instruction. Look at their videos, their notes, their examples, and hopefully those help you. Alright, so we're given a vector, v, with initial point p at point -3, -1, and terminal point q at the point -6, 1. Whereas to write this vector v in terms of that I and j. Alright, so again, I'll draw a little picture here of a coordinate plane and put this vector v down. So the point P, the initial point, was at -3, -1. So there's point P. Point Q is at -6, +1. So like right there. There's point Q, and then vector V that they describe to us, starts at P, ends at Q, initial point, terminal point. So here's vector V that they're describing. Now you should be able to figure out the components of V pretty easily, right, in standard notation. Remember, the first component is what's the change in x. And you're always doing terminal minus initial. So the x coordinate for the terminal point was -6, minus the x coordinate for the initial point was -3. And then for the y component, the second component is the change in y. And again, terminal minus initial always for these vectors. The y coordinate of the terminal point q is 1. Minus the y coordinate of the initial point is -1. Alright, so I'm getting in standard notation -3 for the first component and 2 for the second component. So what this is telling me, remember, is the motion is I move left 3, up 2. And you can see that here, left 3, up 2, I go from P to Q. That's vector V. And once you have it in this form, it's very easy to then change it to that I and j form. Remember, this would be -3 times vector I, which was the vector 1, 0, plus 2 times vector j, which was the vector 0, 1. Very simple to transfer back and forth between these I and j notation and standard wedge notation with components. And that's it. And again, I hope you watched the first video. I did a little more explanation there. I'm just going to do the problem in this one. So -3i plus 2j would be the ij notation for this vector v from point P to point Q. Alright. So again, pretty simple stuff, I feel. I hope you feel the same. And hopefully watching me do this, looking at the more instruction if you need to, reading the answer explanations when they come up. And I'm hoping all this stuff helps you when you go about working on this on your own. And thank you very much for watching.